Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Almost Normal. Before we get into today's episode, I need to give you an update on my type B personality issue that I have been trying to get out of. Yesterday, I had a whole day planned. I had a whole freaking day planned. It was the last day of summer break before I started back at school. I woke up leisurely. I had made some overnight oats. Didn't want to eat them yet, wasn't quite hungry, so I was like, you know what, I'll have them in an hour. Had a long shower, and I just sort of had all of these ideas. Maybe I'll go get my car washed. I'm going to plan a cute outfit for the first day back tomorrow. I'm going to read a little bit more of my book that I really wanted to finish by summertime or the end of summertime. Yeah, I just had put this whole schedule together that I was really excited for, and I was sitting in bed, going through YouTube or whatever. My friend texts me at about 10:05 a.m. and she says, "Oh, are you in this class, this professor's class? Because I thought you said that you were in this class." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in that class." And she's like, "But you're not here. But you're not here. You're not here right now. Where are you?" When I tell you, my heart fell out of my asshole in that moment. Class had started yesterday, not today. The first day of class was indeed yesterday. And I could have fucking sworn to you that I checked the calendar. I checked the calendar over and over and over again, and it told me that classes start on the 9th. I checked, I thought I was doing so well. I was like, this semester is going to be the fucking tits, okay? I am going to do everything right. I'm going to be on time for everything. I'm going to have my essays done the day that they are set for me. Like, I'm going to fucking slay this semester away. No one's going to even know who the hell I am. I'm going to be the one that people come to when they weren't listening properly in class. I'm going to be the fucking teacher's pet. I'm going to be the one people come to and say, "Oh, I wasn't listening, like, what was the homework assignment?" And I'm going to be able to give them all of the fucking information. I'm going to be so great. And I was an hour late for my first class. The way I hauled ass, I jumped out of bed, threw my towel onto the floor. Oh my God. Just threw an outfit together, probably got jeans out of my dirty basket and put on a vest and just fucking ran. My friend was like, "Drive safe," because I know that she knew the panic that was flowing through my veins in that moment. Holy fucking shit. Anyway, surprisingly, I was only an hour late. As I was leaving the door, I also realized that I had not ordered a new driver's license yet. The only time I'd ever gotten fucked by a police officer. Not in that way, in the other way. The only time I really had a moment with a police officer was when I ran a stop sign. He stopped me, and then I also didn't have my fucking ID in my car with me, so that cost me about $400. I had to go to court. So as I was driving to school, which is like a 45-minute drive, I also was like, I don't have my ID. I don't have my ID. Like, if I got stopped by a cop, today's going to be really bad. And I also, was in a rush. It was just a morning of madness, and it was just so classic me. Like, I couldn't have predicted this morning, but it also just went completely the way I would expect my first day of school to go. And I really have to sit down with someone in the registrar's office or whatever and be like, I know I know one of you motherfuckers changed the dates. I know you did, okay? You're not fucking slick. I know. I checked. I checked the fucking dates, okay? It said classes start on the 9th. Who here has an alibi against me, okay? Who has decided that they are preying on my downfall, okay? What have I done? Because I could have sworn I checked 3 or 4 times. When is the first day of school? When is the first day of school? When is the first day of school? Holy shit. Okay, well, there we go. That was my first day back at school. It was not the way I had planned it. Literally, I was so excited to be on top. Not in a sexual way, but just in a life way. Not in the fucking cards, I guess. But you know what? It's just one day. I have class again today. So anyway, that was just an update on my self-diagnosed type B personality. Because honestly, I don't even think that it's a real diagnosis that you can go get from a therapist. I think that is purely like you just analyze and observe the way that you walk through the world and you decide whether you're a type A or a type B. And I just have put myself into this box of a type B personality. I don't even think that I really have to be that way. But again, it was one day. We have time. To bring it back, okay? We have time to bring it back, all right? So I have an economics class at 4 p.m. and I'm gonna fucking crush. Do you ever feel like you just want to like... But like the violence is towards yourself. It's like half of your body is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And the other half is like, just patience. Anyway. Woo! Yeah. Anyway, I want to get into today's episode now. I went out the other night. And I don't tend to go out a lot. I am somewhat of an introvert, I would say. I had for so long convinced myself that I was this enigma of party. I was born to be at a party. I remember having genuine fears and thoughts that went something like this, okay? I would go to a fucking party. I would do a bunch of MDMA. And I would genuinely have fears being like, one day I'm gonna be too old to do this. And that's gonna be the worst day in the world. One day I'm gonna be too old to do this. And I genuinely fear that because I want to do this forever and ever. I never want to stop doing this ever. It's literally the best thing in the world, okay? I had genuine fears and thoughts. You know how people have fears and thoughts being like, oh my God, one day like my parents aren't going to be here anymore. I also had those. But I also genuinely on that same level of like depth was like fearful of the day where I could not go to these fucking clubs anymore. As a sober person now, I realize that it was 99% of that want and desire to be in social situations. That was the drugs. Yeah, that was the drugs. That was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Honestly, you take that cocaine away from me and I don't really want to be out very much. I'm going to be so real with everyone. Like, I would much rather be in bed by 9 p.m. Watching a little bit of Downton Abbey or something. Just had a big meal, takeout if possible. Yeah, that's kind of how I want to spend my Fridays, to be honest. It's just actually not in me to want to be around a lot of people. And it's so crazy. It's so crazy how much we can change as human beings because I labeled myself as number one party girl, okay? The girl that people come to when they want a fucking wild time, okay? When they want sex, drugs, and rock and roll, they would come to me. And now I'm like, numbers disconnected, babe, like, gotta find someone else because I'm just not the one. I'm just not the one. And I'll say, like, getting sober is a humbling time, because first of all, you're fucking trying to figure out who the fuck you are, because like drugs really, really can just overtake you and just convince you that you're someone that you're just not. And trying to relearn who you are is wild, fucking crazy. It's not easy. And then on top of that, you've convinced yourself that these certain groups of people are your best friends. They're your best fucking friends, couldn't live without them. And then when you take away, which ends up being the only sort of common interest you guys have, which is drugs, when you take that away, you realize that you literally have nothing in common with these people. They don't know you, you don't know them. You realize that if you were to invite them out for a cup of coffee, they would absolutely not come. And if they did, you would just be sitting there in silence, like continuously stirring your coffee. I don't know, like, it's a crazy time. It's honestly a crazy time. But where was I going with this? Anyway, yes, okay. As a sober person, I realized the party life is just not for me. And I think I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Even though I may not be this party queen as I once thought I was, there are times where I must exit my house after 9 p.m, put a little makeup on, put an outfit on, and go and socialize. I'm 27, and I know that there are no rules and regulations for being in your 20s. You do whatever the fuck you want, okay? I guess for me, there is some sort of fulfillment when I do go out. And I know that if I go out too many times, it doesn't work anymore. The fulfillment has been fulfilled, and then I'm overflowing that level of fulfillment, whatever, and then it becomes bad, okay? But I do know that if I have spent the past few weeks, each weekend, I just either go to the cinema, which I actually love doing, staying at home, ordering a takeaway, just being antisocial, basically. There is a part of me that suffers. I definitely feel like I am missing something. And now this could so be the societal expectation people have on people in their 20s. It could definitely be just an ingrained feeling that I have been brought up with, where I'm like, I should probably go out. I'm not quite sure yet, but whatever it may be, I'll figure that out with my therapist at some point. Whatever that may be, it's real, and I feel it. And so there are times when I'm invited out and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go. A lot of the time, I go out with other sober people. I would say that most of my friends, except for my friends that I have had since childhood, and who are very, very respectful of my sobriety and would not do anything against it or anything. You got to be very, very careful about stuff like that. I would say that most of the time I go out, I am with other sober people, which is very helpful. But there are times where I go out and the crowd is predominantly not sober. There's a lot of alcohol, there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of philandering, and I am sort of put in a position where I have to be okay with that. And a huge thing in sobriety is understanding that you will never be in a world where there is no alcohol. It's just never going to exist. Literally, it won't. There is never going to be a world where there is no alcohol, no drugs, no vices. There's never going to be a world where you can walk out and you can just be 100% sure that you will never cross paths with something that you are trying to avoid. Just not going to happen. I need to understand that, remind myself of that, and say, yes, maybe I can avoid going into places that will have like an abundance of these things, but sometimes it's just going to happen, and I have to understand how to still have a good time and not have a freak out. I don't think that you have to give up your fun when you get sober, okay? That was a huge thing for me. A huge problem I had was I was like, fuck, I'm never going to have fun again if I don't get to do coke. I'm never going to be fun again. And like, I didn't get sober to be a boring cunt, okay? I didn't get sober so I could just sit around every single night and do nothing. And that's not what I got sober for. I got sober so my life could be fuller, not smaller. So I have had to teach myself how to have fun without the alcohol and the drugs. And to be honest, my most fun nights sober, or let me say that again, my worst nights sober, got into a fight, had anxiety, whatever, my worst nights sober, I can say now with confidence, were better than my best nights drinking. Because for me, drinking and doing any of that stuff always ended up in absolute chaos and disaster. And that chaos and disaster would follow me for a much, much longer period of time than just that night out. And I have to remind myself of that. On the nights that you can't avoid going out, or you just feel like you need to fulfill that little piece of you, this is my list of instructions in order to have the best night possible as a sober queen. These are tips and tricks from an self-proclaimed party girl. All right, here we go. Number one, if you decide that you want to put a little makeup on, put a little outfit on, all right, you don't have to. Go out in sweatpants and no makeup. You'll have a great time. But if you choose to get ready, you choose to pull out your concealers, your foundations, your bronzers, you pull out your favorite perfume, you dust off that dress that you haven't worn in a while. If you decide to do all of that, my first tip is to enjoy that process as much as possible, okay? If you can avoid rushing it, excellent. If you can give yourself the time, all right, put some music on, maybe a podcast. If you can really enjoy that process, that is step one for having a great fucking night. And there's a few reasons for this. Number one, getting ready is fucking fun, okay? I enjoy putting makeup on. I enjoy putting an outfit together. I think it's really great. Sometimes I make TikToks about it, which just adds a whole other element of enjoyment for me. I love getting ready. I've had to get ready in a rush before, and I enjoy that much less. I feel very put upon. I get very hot and flustered, and I just sort of start the night out in a bad mood. And then also, number two is, if you enjoy that part of the night, all right, you've already sort of conquered it. Because let's say you go to the party or whatever you're invited to. Let's say you go out to the party and the party ends up just a shit show. Through no fault of your own, it just didn't go very well. It was fucking boring. Somebody threw up on you. Like, it could be a number of things. Things that just are totally out of your hands. You just didn't have a good time. If you already enjoyed the art of putting yourself together, then the night's already sort of had some fulfillment. You've already said, oh, I enjoyed a little piece of this, so it's okay. At least the getting ready part was great. And at least then you can go to bed thinking, I had a little bit of a good time. I had a little bit of fulfillment, and it won't freak you out next time you're invited to something. You'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy the getting ready process, and then at least that's something. Also, if you put a fucking face of makeup on, you put an outfit together, you put effort into it, and then you go out and the party's trash, you are going to feel like you wasted, okay, your time. You feel like you wasted your products, your energy, all of that stuff, and you don't want to feel that way. Also, if you feel put upon, if you did not enjoy the getting ready process, there's going to be a lot of pressure for the night to be good, because you're going to be like, I don't want to fear that I wasted this outfit. I do not want to fear that I wasted this makeup. I do not want to fear that I wasted my time getting ready. And so you're going to put a lot of pressure on the night to be a great time in order for you not to feel hard done by the night, even more. So my tip number 1, get a Red Bull. I fucking love an energy drink before a night out. My little vice. Get a Red Bull, get a Celsius, an Alani Nu, that's kind of like my new thing. Put it on the sink, get your laptop out, put a podcast on, put a TV show on, put some music on, whatever you want, and really fucking enjoy that getting ready process. Maybe try out a new hairstyle, go on YouTube, look at tutorials. It can be so much fun in itself. It can be so much fun in itself. And sometimes it's like, yeah, the night's shit, but like I would have done that anyway. It was such a good time. So tip number 1, just really, really indulge in that getting ready process. Really indulge in it. Because it can be really, really fun. FaceTime your friends while you're doing it. Like whatever, okay? Just indulge. Because then the night, first of all, has already started off good. And you're taking the pressure off of the rest of the night to be the best night you've ever had. Because you'll be like, look, I already enjoyed doing all of this shit. If it's a bad night, it's fine. I had a great time anyway. So that's rule number 1. Not rule, but, tip number 1. Tip number 2. If you can, and there are many reasons why you may not be able to do this. You don't really have any close sober friends yet. Maybe you can't add another +1 to the guest list. Maybe you just don't think that the sober person you know will have a good time at the party, and you think that will overwhelm you with stress because you are a people pleaser, and you will be like, oh my god, this person's having a terrible, terrible time, and then you're just gonna have a terrible, terrible time too. There are some reasons why this little tip won't work, but if you can, invite a sober person with you, okay? Bring a sober person to the party with you. I have learned that sober people are actually the most fucking fun, okay? Like, because these people have this confidence that others need alcohol for, where they are just like, I don't give a fuck. Some people are definitely still shy, but a lot of the sober people I know, fucking crazy. Okay, they could be fucking fun, especially if they are more seasoned in sobriety than you are. They can sort of give you a confidence that maybe when you're seeing all these people drinking, you may lose. You may feel like you are not good enough because you can't drink like these people can. But the thing is that you are given a gift. You are able to learn about yourself in the way people who still drink cannot. You are able to put yourself into the world purely as you. 100% you. Everything you say, unless you get a little anxious and you start to word vomit, which I do all the time, everything you say, everything you do is under your own volition. When I was drinking, I would do a lot of shit that was not me. And I would bully myself endlessly after that because I would say, why the fuck did I do that? Why did I do that? And alcohol and drugs makes you do things that is just not in your nature. Truly believe that. I truly think that when you are under the influence, weird little beliefs and understandings of the world that you have just absorbed from people around you will start to come out, and you will say things or do things that really just do not reflect you as a person whatsoever. And I think that if you are not there yet in your confidence, having another sober person to bring you up and convince you and tell you and explain to you that you have something so cool. Going to a party without substances is just so cool because you are confident just by going. That is like the first step. So I would say having a sober companion is useful sometimes, or just having someone who you fucking trust with your sobriety. Having someone who may drink themselves, but doesn't drink too much, and maybe would even go out and not drink if they're with you. Just having someone who really respects it and understands it is a tip. And again, I know it can't happen every single time, but if it can, I highly suggest it. I highly do suggest it. All right, tip number three. If you're at a party and you're having a little bit of fun, and suddenly that fun starts to deplete, you are tired, maybe the anxiety is coming up a little bit, people are getting really, really drunk around you, and you're just like, you know what, I really don't want to be here anymore. But you have that sort of inner belief that if you just push through, then maybe you'll have fun later. Ignore that, okay? And leave. Ignore that and leave. There have been so many times where I have tried to push through that feeling of being uncomfortable and just being over the night, and it never ends well. I just get grumpier, I get sadder, I get more stressed, I start to think, oh my god, should I just have a drink? It gets scary. When you feel like you have had enough of the night, go home. Go home, all right? One of the biggest things that I praise is that I can be less available. When I was drinking and doing drugs, I would be the last person at the party. I would be the last person awake, calling the dealer at 5 a.m. I would be giving people money for substances just so they could hang out with me longer. I would be so wasted that I would have no secrets. I would tell all my deepest secrets and all my family's deepest secrets. People knew everything about me. And I may have met that person an hour before. I was not a woman of mystery. Let's just say that, all right? Clothes would come off. I had no secrets. And I was just available. I was available. Someone says, do you want to come to this party? Yeah. You want to come to this thing? Yeah. You know, there was no sort of je ne sais quoi about me. I was all out there. And you know, sometimes putting all out there is interesting and fun, but you want to keep a little bit inside. You really do. That's what makes you human. And the next day I would always regret telling people all these things, and I would go into this anxious spiral being like, Jesus Christ, maybe these people are going to use all this information against me, like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Something about sobriety that is truly a gift is the fact that I can leave with people wanting more from me. Before, when I was leaving a party, people were like, Jesus Christ, that's enough. That's enough. I don't want to know anymore. I don't want to know anymore. I don't want to see anymore. I know enough. All right. With sobriety and understanding that when I feel uncomfortable, when I feel like the night's done, which is could be 8 p.m. All right. It's whenever you decide. Leaving and having people want you to stay is a great feeling and a much better feeling than people trying to kick you out of the fucking function because you are being insane. That is a gift. Use it. Use it. Don't stay. Don't stay because you think that you're going to miss something cool happening. Don't stay because you're going to get FOMO. Don't stay. I promise you nothing great will ever happen past 10 p.m. Nothing that is worth your salt. Get out of there. Get out of there. And if you feel like you get sucked in by saying goodbye, another little tip, do an Irish goodbye. Just fucking leave. People are probably too drunk to notice, okay? The other night when I went out, I just did an Irish goodbye. I just left. I said goodbye to absolutely nobody. And everyone just went along with their own night. No one minded, okay? Just get the fuck out of there. Get an Uber. Get out of there. If you're sober and you're driving, drive home. Go home. Do your skincare routine. Get into bed, all right? You are not missing anything. Number 3 or 4, can't quite remember, all right? Next tip. Pick a fucking fun drink, okay? You don't have to sit there and drink water. Just because you're sober does not mean you can't be involved in the typical rituals of a night out. You can sit at the bar, stand at the bar with your friends, talk about boys, talk about balls, talk about dicks, whatever you want to talk about. Order yourself a fun drink, okay? Get the bartender to do something other than just like put some water in a cup. You are still allowed to be involved. Bars weren't purely made for alcohol, all right? Like, people drink non-alcoholic drinks at the bars all the time. When I go to the pub in London, I'm drinking typically a pint of water with some elderflower cordial. It's fucking delicious, okay? They have non-alcoholic drinks at the bar. And why do they have them? Because people order them. People order them, all right? Get yourself a fucking Shirley Temple, an Arnold Palmer. Get yourself even like a Diet Coke or a Red Bull, my typical favorite, because I kind of need some sort of stimulant to keep me going, keep me awake. Get yourself a fun fucking drink, okay? Non-alcoholic. There doesn't have to be alcohol in it to make it fun. In fact, I remember when I was a kid, I would always order pina coladas. And of course, I just called them pina coladas. I didn't realize that my parents were telling them no alcohol in the pina colada, okay? Obviously, I didn't realize that. So I was just like, fuck yeah, I love pina coladas. Then I became an adult and I sort of got privy to the fact that my parents were telling them to alter them to be a child's pina colada, obviously. Then I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm going to order a fucking pina colada the way it was meant. The way God intended it for it to be. It tasted fucking disgusting. It tasted horrible. I was like, wait, hold on a second. Pina coladas are one of the most delicious drinks in the entire world. But now it tastes like actual ass. Why is this better? Why is this better? And as a sober person today, every time I go to the bar on holiday, I order a virgin pina colada, and it is the best thing ever. And I feel bad for all the people that drink it with alcohol, because they don't understand that it's actually more delicious without the alcohol in it, right? So order a fun drink at the fucking bar. You deserve it. Get a little umbrella in there, get a little cocktail straw, do the whole thing. Ask for a maraschino cherry on top of your Diet Coke, okay? Ask for it. Ask for a little wedge of lime on the side of your Sprite. Ask for it. You don't have to be left out of the rituals just because you don't drink the alcohol. It's all the fucking same. You guys are all drinking a drink. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Have fun. Have fun with it, all right? Honestly, have fun with it. Brings a little, pizzazz to the night. And I would say that there is something very, very important about having something in your hand. I think that when I first got sober and I would go out, I, wouldn't order a drink at all for some reason. And so my hands would be free. And so I then endlessly chain smoked, and that was just not good either. Better, but not good. And I realized that it was because usually my hands would be occupied by a cocktail or something. Why can't I still do that? I can still do that. I just have to take one ingredient out of it. And that's it. So order a fun drink, okay? Go to the bar, get a drink, and they're cheaper. Literally so much cheaper, and they taste better. Get a sugar rush. All right, tip number 4 or 5. Now I'm losing track. Being a sober person in a room full of drunk people means that you can do anything and act like no one is watching you, because nobody is watching you. Literally no one is watching you. Fucking let your hair down and fucking dance. No one is watching you. If anything, they will encourage it. And I promise you, when they wake up the next morning with a hangover, they will not be thinking about how silly your dance moves were. They will not be thinking that at all. They will have 1 million other things on their mind to think about, okay? Use this opportunity, okay? There's a DJ, there's a dance floor. You've got a little Arnold Palmer in your hand. Shake your booty, okay? Literally, this is the best scenario to do this in, because genuinely no one cares. Nobody cares about you, all right? In the best way possible. Use this opportunity, all right? Use it. It's so fun. One of the biggest things that I miss going out is dancing. It's just fucking dancing, letting it all go. It's not the same as dancing in your bedroom or in your bathroom or in the shower or whatever. Being around people and soaking in their energy, whether it's drunk or not energy, just being around other people's energy and dancing is so freeing and fulfilling. It's literally one of the best therapies ever. Use that opportunity. If the party's not serving you and you want to leave, but you don't really want to go home, one of my favorite things to do is find the nearest place to get a fucking slice, go with a friend, order a pizza, sit in the restaurant or cafe or whatever it may be, and just fucking debrief. debriefing. Okay, debriefing is one of those things that I really, really miss from a night out. The time when you guys leave and maybe you guys go get some food or something, and you start to talk about the people at the party, like people you met, who you liked, just sort of discussing the whole event. And you can still do that, okay? And going to get like a slice or a burger or a late night spot for food is one of the best parts of a night out for me personally. I didn't really get to debrief even actually when I was drinking that much because I was so obsessed with staying up all night, and then the next morning I felt like absolute crap. But when I was drinking and it was still kind of a fun time, when I was maybe a teenager or something, waking up in the morning with all my girlfriends in the bed or going out to get something to eat like after the night, that was the best time, okay? That was literally the best time. It was so much fun. I really just enjoyed it so much. I think the biggest thing I want to say is that you have to realize that the only thing that really needs to change is the fact that you won't ingest any sort of alcohol or substance, okay? And I think in my mind, the alcohol and the substances was what made the night. And I was sort of like, well, without them, the night's kind of fucked. Like, I don't really think I'm going to have a good time. But you can absolutely have a good time. And I am not saying a week into sobriety, you fucking start going to the club. I am not saying that, okay? It took me very, very, very long time to be comfortable with going out. And I'm still not 100% comfortable. There are times where I will go out and I will have to leave immediately, okay? Because I have an inkling, something feels weird, I start to think about drinking, and I'm like, okay, goodbye, goodbye, okay? Goodbye. Actually, another big tip is that if you went to the party with someone, they don't want to leave, and you do, you are allowed to go, okay? You're allowed to go. As long as your friend is in a safe position, you're not leaving them with some scary people or like leaving them in a scary position, or they're like really, really drunk and you're leaving them alone. Like, don't do any of those things, okay? There are other ways in which we can sort of sort that out. But, you know, I would say that it is your body, it is your brain, it is your autonomy. If you are feeling uncomfortable and the person that you're with doesn't want to leave yet, that's totally fine. As long as they are in a safe situation, they don't really have the right to be mad at you for leaving, all right? It's just not really up to them. If you are feeling insecure and unsafe, just due to your own sobriety and you feel like you're maybe like in a compromising position, it's okay to go. And a real friend, to be honest, will go with you because they will want you to be safe and they will want you to be home. And again, like, maybe don't go out just with one person who really, really drinks a lot of alcohol and does all of that stuff. Maybe don't go just the two of you. Because like those situations are really, really hard. If someone you're with is really drunk and you don't really want to leave them alone, but they also won't leave, but then also you feel uncomfortable, like that's a really hard situation to be in. And I've stayed a bunch of times due to that, and it's just not that fun. So I would say like really, really planning the night and like figuring out who will be a great partner to go with, or at least bring an extra person who will either stay with that person or go home with you or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just sort of think about that, because at the end of the day, like, company is sort of like the biggest thing when it comes to having a good time, I would say. If you're going to like one of the biggest parties in the world and you're not with people that you like fuck with, then it's just like not really going to be that fun. You know what I mean? So I think that I was very unselective when I was drinking about who I hung out with and who I spent my time on, and now I'm sort of given an opportunity to be able to really think about it and really like consider like who I want around, which is really special. And I'm now happier with my relationships and with my friendships, and I trust people more, and it's just better. And I'm in less arguments and I'm in less disagreements and I have less anxiety. Like, do these people like me? Do these people not like me? Like, everything's pretty much out on the table. Much more than it was before. And so, you know, that's another thing. You know, there are so many fucking gifts to being sober that you just should just take, okay? Just really, really indulge in. And like being very selective about people and places is one of those things. And I will take that, you know, I will use that, utilize it. And I feel like the, you know, the sort of stress I have about going out is lessened, and the FOMO I once might have had is lessened, because I understand like what really happens at these parties past a certain hour. Nothing really good. Like, I'm good. I can go. And yeah, that's sort of my like little, you know, little pamphlet of tips and tricks for a sober queen to enjoy the night out. There are others, I'm sure I can think of more, but I actually have to go to class now and I cannot be late second day again. That would be, you know, I'm really trying to work on myself in every aspect of my life, okay? Another sober thing is that you can now really improve little bits of life that you never really even thought about before. And you could be the best person, the best human being that you can be. Okay, I love you guys so much. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do. It's super helpful to me, and you can see anytime I post anything. And if you want any more sober tips and tricks for when you're going out, let me know in the comments, and I will make another video, part 2. Because there's so many things that can make a night out way more enjoyable without the substances and all the bad stuff, you know. But yes, I love you guys so much. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Okay, I love you. Mwah. Bye-bye.